Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to the Design and Align Your Business podcast. Today, I want to share with you something that I've had on my mind for a while, but I've been trying to figure out the right way to share it. And what I know is true is that it's time to share it, even if I don't have the most perfect way of saying it to you all yet. But it is something that has been deep on my heart. And I am excited to share this with you because it's something that I know so many entrepreneurs, especially spiritual entrepreneurs, are feeling as we are stepping into our expansion, as we're stepping into taking our businesses away from the chaos, away from doing things for the sake of doing them, and becoming more intentional, becoming more aligned. And why I have been almost nervous to share what I'm about to share is that this is all different types of business advice that I have heard from the gurus out there that are helping people build their businesses. And there's a piece of me that's been afraid to speak out about some of these things because I don't want to upset anyone, or I'm afraid that it might call in spammers or like trolls coming in to say things about me. And it is something that the more and more I've been thinking about this, especially as I have been building my expansion of my business, which is the Spiritual Business Incubator. And y'all, so much fun stuff is happening behind the scenes. I cannot wait to start sharing more of that with you on social media. If you've been listening to this podcast, you've gotten more insider information than anybody else so far. And with that, I have been very intentionally building out a program to help entrepreneurs design their aligned businesses and do so not in one unique way, but in those specific ways that you are meant to build your business as a entrepreneur who is interested in human design, that wants that alignment, but also wants the strategy, that actual business things that we need to have as part of our business. And these things I learned as part of my MBA, as part of building out not only my business, but multiple local businesses, online businesses, and supporting my parents who were entrepreneurs, but were actually Polish immigrants and didn't speak this language. So I had to do a lot in the entrepreneurial world for my whole life and understand exactly why I'm building what I'm building now, how I want to help and support people. But the stuff that I have been seeing out in the coaching industry, I have been feeling frustrated or soapboxy about because when you actually understand business and understand things like human design and are a spiritual entrepreneur who believes that there's more than just strategy to how we build our businesses, then we actually have to take a pause and reflect on what we're hearing from all of the people out in the world and decide what it is that actually resonates with us and what actually makes sense for us to get the result that we're wanting to in our business. And if you're here listening to this podcast, what I believe is that you want not only to have a successful business, one that is profitable and allows you the freedom that you want in your life, but one that creates an impact, one that is aligned with your purpose and your unique gifts and skills so that you can build that successful business with more ease, more fun, more flow. And we get to do that in a very intentional way. And so on this episode, I want to share with you 6 pieces of advice that I have outgrown, and maybe you have outgrown as well. And whether the word is outgrown or matured beyond or are ready to see things a different way in business, this episode is going to share with you what is it that people are saying in the business world that doesn't make sense if we really are leaning into our human design alongside the strategy. So, are you ready for it? Let's dive in. So, the first piece of business advice that I remember receiving when we started our businesses, when whether that was me, so many of the clients that I've worked with, so many of the people that I support, is that we're supposed to start our businesses with a certain type of business model. And I say certain type without actually defining it, because one coach I worked with said that one-on-one is the way to start your business. Another coach said that a community was the way to start your business. Another coach said that a membership or a different type of like course or passive income product. And what I want you to hear from this is that depending on your human design, depending on who you are, what your life looks like, what you're trying to accomplish in your business, different types of programs, different types of things are going to achieve different results. And particularly based on your human design type and your energy type and your aura and all of that is going to play a big part in what it is that you're putting out there from a spiritual side in business. And from a strategic side, there is this piece where we need to actually look at what is it that your clients need and what is the best way that you can serve them with the skills that you have, the gifts that you have, the energy that you have. But putting out this blanket statement of this is the best type of program or this is the best type of program to start your business or to grow your business, that is way too one size fits all, way too cookie cutter. And it's something that I do not subscribe to. I remember feeling really frustrated when I was in like the first coaching program I ever signed up for and was given a very templated, this is exactly what your business needs to look like. And it felt so restrictive to me. And now, understanding my human design at a deeper level, understanding how business, literally all the business strategies work, all the different things work, that has not only brought back to me the remembering that when all the things work, you get to pick which one you want to do, and using your human design to help you figure out which one is the right one for you. That is the way you're going to really launch off, really start in the way that feels best for you. And that's going to then resonate with your clients. So this first thing that I believe is like advice that we need to pause and think about is when you are hearing that a certain type of program or a certain type of style of delivering your service is the right one, question it, think about it, and wonder, is this really aligned for me? Or is this just me watching somebody else do something and wanting to do it the same way as them, needing validation from them? Because what you're meant to do is powerful, it is unique, it is specific, and learning how to uncover that through your human design and then figuring out the right strategy to apply to it, that is a really powerful combination. And I want to encourage you to step into that as you're moving into the expansion of your business. The second thing that I believe that we have outgrown as entrepreneurs, or at least those of us out there listening to this podcast, is taking messy action. And let me qualify this a little bit, because there is a lot of value in experimenting and trying things out. But there, you come to a point in your business where taking messy action, throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping something is going to stick is no longer a mature business process, strategy, way of being. And this really comes from a couple of different places. It comes from people pushing you into doing something, hoping that you'll get a quick result, a quick win, and that then it, if you're working with a coach, then it makes them look good, versus you really sitting down and thinking like, what is the business that I'm intentionally trying to build? And how am I going to build that? Because when you take messy action, and let's be clear, messy action and quick action are not the same. And taking that messy action might serve you in certain parts of your business early on when you're trying to figure things out. But when you want to create consistency and stability and evolution and expansion in your business that matches you at the level of evolution and expansion that you have been experiencing as an entrepreneur, messy action is actually holding you back from getting to the next level, because you're wasting your time, your energy, your money, your resources on things hoping that they're going to work, versus following not only proven business strategies and practices that will help you achieve the whatever end goal you want to achieve. And then from a spiritual level, from a human design level, you might be taking messy action that is not aligned with you, that then makes you feel bad about yourself or makes you feel you're not self-theme of frustration or anger or bitterness or disappointment. And then you think you're doing something wrong in business. And I want you to take away from this second piece of advice that you may have outgrown is it's okay that you may have been taking messy action before, and it's okay to not want to be taking messy action anymore. So I'm going to say that again. It is okay that you were taking messy action before, and it is okay for you to want to no longer take messy action anymore. And so if that resonates with you, I am here with you. I totally feel you. This is a lot of how the evolution of my business has been going because I'm done taking messy action. Fast action absolutely is something we want to do. Aligned action, absolutely what we want to do. But doing things for the sake of doing them and not knowing why we're doing them, how it's going to get us where we want to go, that is something I've outgrown in my entrepreneurial journey. And if you have also outgrown it, stick around because you're going to love the rest of these pieces of advice. And I think this is really going to like ring true deep within your heart. So the third piece of advice that I have outgrown and you may have outgrown as well in your journey of entrepreneurship is to pick something, pick one thing and stick to it for a year to 18 months. And y'all, I remember hearing this a lot from different coaches, different people in the personal development space and the online coaching space. Even when I was doing local coaching, I remember a lot of service providers, realtors, mortgage lenders, like solar professionals. A lot of people are taught this idea of just keep repeating the same thing, whether that is the same program or your same marketing strategy or things like that. And do it for a year, and then you can decide if you want to pivot or do something different. And y'all, there is value in committing to a long-term plan. There is value in committing to doing something and really seeing what it is, what can come of it. What there is not value in, or at least in the season of entrepreneurship that I'm in and that you might be in, is blindly choosing something or doing something because you feel pressure to do it or that you're seeing other people do it and be successful with that without really understanding your human design and who you are, without really understanding your industry, the market that you're trying to serve, the client that you're trying to serve. And so many of us have done this where we're out there, we're building out program. You might have built it part of the way out, and either you're trying to sell it and you're not getting people into it, and or you are too scared to sell it, or there's something like, because when you are picking just anything, picking up one thing and committing to it, first of all, there's often a piece of us that is questioning ourselves. Did I pick the right thing? Is it going to get me to the goal that I want to get to? And y'all, there is a way to know that. There is a way to build a business plan, a business blueprint that helps you figure that out with using proven business strategies and processes that businesses all over the world have been successful in doing. Like business planning is like business 101. It's something not only that I learned in my undergraduate as a business and finance and accounting student, but also when I got my master's degree in business. Like what we are doing on a regular basis is business planning. And that goes beyond the start of a business. Yes, absolutely. It's important to have that business plan at the beginning. But more often than not, what I'm seeing is entrepreneurs didn't have that initial business plan, which is also fine. This is what I'm out here to share with you. If you don't have this formal traditional business background, you might not know all of the different things that need to happen. But when you're ready to expand, when you're ready to mature your business so it can evolve like you have evolved as an entrepreneur, creating a business plan is so important. And so when you are deciding not only on something to do for the next year or 18 months, or we actually start looking at this in a 2 and 3 year progression as I support my clients in my Aligned Business Blueprint program. This is something we become really intentional about. So instead of just randomly picking, we become really intentional about who you are, understanding your human design, and then also going through the business planning process in a really intentional and strategic way so that the plan that you create, the blueprint that you create, that every action, time, energy, dollar, every resource, everything that you're investing in building that business is going to get you where you want to go. We do it with purpose. We do it in a way that not only feels good for you as a person, as a spiritual entrepreneur, but in a way that the market can support, in a way that you know that you're going to get to the end goal that you desire, or at least have a way of paying attention on the journey to know if you're doing the right thing. So this third one of committing to one thing for a year, that is something we need to be more intentional about. And if you picked something that maybe feels out of alignment, or maybe that you feel resistance, and it's been 4 months, 6 months, a year, 2 months, whatever that might look like, take this as your opportunity to pause and reflect and see what is it that you need to do next. And if you need some help with that, reach out to me. I absolutely would love to support you in that. So along with that, the fourth piece of business advice that I have outgrown, you may have outgrown, or you're ready to grow beyond as you are moving into the expansion of your business, is that this concept of there is a correct business model or a certain type of business model that's going to make you the richest or achieve success the fastest or provide you the most freedom or anything like that. And earlier I talked about the right program versus business model. And I just want to take a minute to explain a little bit of the difference. So certain people, based on their like experience or type in human design or life desires or goals or whatever, may want to have a program that is really simple, that is really short. It might be entirely passive versus having a program that is really hands-on and interactive. That so many pieces of your human design play into that. So many pieces of the life that you're wanting to lead will play into that. And looking at your program, which is what I talked about earlier, or your offer, let's say, that is something that has so many variations within it. And based on your design, there could be people in the same industry with similar programs, but very different ways of delivering that same type of thing because of their design. In this item, where we've matured into being intentional about our business model, is that when you are looking at your business, there is this concept of being self-employed or being a solopreneur, which is where many of us start, and wanting to get our gifts out there, wanting to really support people that we want to support to make that impact. And then there comes a time where maybe you need more of a team or more of an agency model or more of different types of support structures, not only within your business from a team perspective, from a structural perspective, but when you look at your business model, that might look like, do you have multiple offers that ascend people because they need to gain some knowledge or experience in this first one and then move them to the next one, move them to the next one, versus having a type of program that is always something that people can come in and out of, and you can support them in that capacity. And you don't have a lot of like different levels within that, because what it is that you're wanting to create, what you want in your life, what you want in your business, that supports. And so being really thoughtful and intentional about the business model that you're creating is really important, because I want to give this example. I have been in a few different coaching programs online in addition to everything that I've done in my like actual business life, coaching people in real businesses locally, online, and in person, and all of that. But I've been in several programs that teach this concept of evergreen. And it's really interesting because I probably have been in 3 programs that taught evergreen, and each of them taught it a different way. And so you can imagine, as a person who maybe doesn't have the like business background, that you hear this way and you're like, okay, this is the way, right? I believe this is the right business model. And I, have to play this particular role, do this level of coaching, do these different things to make this a successful business model. Depending on your human design, you might either feel burnt out, you might feel bored. Like, the spectrum is pretty huge depending on if you're a projector or manifesting generator, a manifestor, reflector, any of that on that one type of business model, let alone deciding what role you're playing in it. So, what I want you to take away from this is just hearing that beyond just the offer that you are creating, the actual business model that you are implementing in your business that you want to like have support you needs to be really intentional with where you're going in your expansion, where you are like wanting to support people on as an individual, whether that's as a coach, a team leader, a CEO, right? All of these different things. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And knowing that the way that you've been designed not only will impact the business models that you pick, but what your vision is for your life and what you want to create, like all of these things impact it. So hearing this advice that there's only this is the best way, or this is the best model, or this is the best, it might be the best for a certain type of person in a certain season of their business. So I really encourage you to discern whatever it is that your business model looks like right now. Is it really aligned with where you are wanting to go, where you want your life to go, where you want your business to go? And that is something that is really important for all of us to do periodically throughout our business careers. In the business world, we call this often strategic planning, because we are deciding like, here's where I want to go. Is what I have right now going to get me there? And if not, what do I need to do to get there? Like I said, this one is for those of you who have been out there building your business, putting together different pieces, wondering if the puzzle is going to get you to where you want to go. And this is your opportunity to really pause, reflect, and say, like, okay, is this business model the one that I actually want? And if you need support in figuring out what business models are right for you, what business models are available, what offered models are available, any of this stuff, like, this is where working with someone who is an expert in business beyond just one part of it, right? There's so many coaches out there that only teach marketing or only teach sales or only teach offers, and these are all valuable and important. But having someone who understands the big picture, that understands how to help you put all of the pieces of the puzzle together and make sure that you are building the business, creating the picture that you want and that is most aligned for you and your design, that is really a fundamental and important part of achieving the success that you desire in business. And if you need some support with that, connect with me on Instagram. I am Anna Nichols, and I will link in the show notes an opportunity for you to hop on a call with me to see how I can help you align your business a little bit better. So the fifth thing that I want to dive into is actually related to this, which is that your credentials don't matter. Or I've heard this concept of like, you don't need another certification, or you don't need more knowledge to go out there and start a business or be a coach or be a CEO and all of that. And I want to say yes and no to this. But for those of you listening who feel like you have outgrown some of this like hustle mentality, being in the chaos of doing it all on your own, and undervaluing what not only your existing credentials are, whether that is something that you got at a university or something that you got in through your life experience. Let's be clear here that credentials can mean a lot of different things. It could be something that you learned in other coaching programs. It could be something that you learned on your own personal journey of self-discovery. It could be something that you've learned because it's just a skill that you naturally have and never imagined turning it into a business, but it's something that you help a lot of people. This idea, I remember I was in a particular coaching program at an in-person mastermind event. It was with someone who is a business coach, but she specialized in one particular area of business. When I was out there, I remember she made this comment of, it doesn't matter what your credentials are. It only matters if you can get the result. And there is truth in that. Like, I see so many people online that have businesses and helping people make good sourdough or learn to knit or do certain things that will help build this funnel or train your dogs on how to, walk without pulling on the leash. There's so much knowledge and wisdom out there. But hearing that feedback, I remember it actually caused me to dim my light for a really long time and not only the knowledge that I have gained from my formal education experience, but the knowledge that I've gained from literally starting in entrepreneurship as a 10-year-old kid. My parents were moved to Colorado and they spoke Polish. I shared that often on this podcast, and they were running a business and didn't really know how to run a business, but they knew how to treat people, deliver good customer service, clean. We owned a motel, so we would clean rooms and we would fix the rooms and we would, do all the different things as this like small business. These Polish people following the American dream is trying to provide something better for their family. And very early, I started learning business things. At 10 years old, it was hard work and like work ethic to create what I wanted and learn how to solve problems and just observe. Yeah, that was part of it. But then over the years of actually working in my parents' business, then going to school to learn how to work smarter, not harder, then going into not only entrepreneurship, learning human design, figuring out how like the bigger picture all comes together, not only from a business perspective, but from a spiritual perspective, and then applying it with the coaching that I have done, being the president of a school board, all of these different things. I remember hearing those words of your credentials don't matter. You don't need another course. And I want to just put out there that is not true. And what you've gained in your experience, whether that is through formal education, informal education, through your own experimentation, that all counts as a credential that is valuable for you to share with the people that are in your audience or in your community, because people want different types of experiences that they might not be able to get if you didn't have that experience and in order to be able to share that with them. I think a lot about, I have a family member, my husband's family is ranchers and farmers in the mountains of Colorado, and they can anything, process any piece of meat, sew anything, create fabric, like they can create anything and have this amazing ability to help people. And doing that and actually supporting not only themselves, but teaching people in their community how to do that is a very valuable skill that they can build a business on. They have been building a business on. But things like marketing and sales and seeing all of the big picture pieces of business is not what they were taught. And so working with someone who understands business, if that's what you're trying to do, is really important. Just as if we take this to a human design level, understanding yourself and your design, if you have a one line, you're always going to want to learn and research more. And so forcing yourself not to take that extra course or to do this other thing, that is going to feel really limiting to you. Or if you have a 3 line and you want to go experiment and try things out and you've done all the things, and so you can guide your potential clients, your actual clients, in how to avoid pitfalls, because then they don't have to do the things you've already done. There's so much value in this. Or If you are naturally good at something as a 2 line, that's something that I see all the time, that we have these natural skills and gifts that we didn't necessarily learn in a classroom or learn through a hands-on experience. It happened, I don't know, maybe through osmosis, maybe through like divine intervention, a lot of different things, right? The way that our minds work are all unique, but it's something that you feel is so natural to you. You don't even imagine it as a skill or a gift that you can turn into your business or a valuable credential. And that is absolutely something to uncover and figure out. Or if you have a 4 line, I'm actually going to go through all of the lines because I can see this for each of you. If you've got a 4 line in your profile, looking at that and understanding how you build relationships, how you network and build community and connect with people is such a valuable skill, is such a valuable credential, that we've put these like limiting blocks on our mind, on like, oh, I have to have these like letters behind my name, and there's value to that. And then also having this gift of connecting with people, of building relationships, like that is something valuable and is considered, in my mind, a credential that you can share with other people because it is something you have done over and over and are able to deliver results when you teach people or support people in that same way. If you're a 5 line and you're this universal problem solver, that's something that is so important for us to see the value in that, because you can solve problems in ways that other people can't, in innovative ways and creative ways. And so for you, it might just seem, oh, I'm just solving problems. I'm just helping out my family, or I'm helping out my clients, or doing these things. But really looking at that, what are some big problems that you have solved for people, for the clients, for the work that you're trying to do to support people in the business that you're trying to build? Because that is going to give you clues on what it is that you have done. Like, how do you build up your resume to say, here's the different things that I have done in order to achieve this result that I can now help you achieve? Or if you have a 6 line and you're thinking about credentials from that role model perspective, like that life experience, going through your different phases of experimenting to observing to really seeing what is the best way for us to do things, how to role model that for us. Like, life experience is as much a credential as anything else. I think about my Polish grandmother and like all of the wisdom that she shares and passes down to us about how they would, turn milk into cheese or do different types of things. And so that's not something someone else could have learned that in a book. Someone else could have learned that by trial and error. Someone else could have learned that by living that experience and then modeling that and making me come into the kitchen with her and like do all of the different pieces. So for this one, when you are thinking about what your credentials are, what is it that you have that is innate to you from your experience, your education, from all of these different things, I want you to believe and trust that that is an important part of having a mature business, and communicating that is really important as you're going to expansion, as you're going into that evolved version of your business, because dimming your light is not going to get you where you want to go. Dimming your skills and gifts and not standing out in that is going to cause you to feel frustrated and all of these different things that aren't going to get you the success that you want. So let's step into it and start owning it. And with that, watch that uniqueness of your business take flight, and really become what it is you're meant to become, and allow your business to evolve into that as well. And the sixth thing that you may have either outgrown or are feeling like you're ready to outgrow, or are just trying to figure out how to do this as you're stepping into expansion into the next level of your business, is figuring out which tasks to delegate or how to build up your business in a way that supports you and also supports your clients in creating the business that you truly desire, creating the life that you truly desire. And this is really interesting because how I feel like I've outgrown this, and this might be you too, but from a tactical, practical business perspective, a lot of people ask me, like, what's the first person you should hire? Or what's the like first role in your organization that we need to have? Or even taking it farther than that, you already have a team and you're trying to figure out, do I have the right people doing the right things in my business in order to support me getting to where I want to go? And why I feel like we've outgrown this is because we can, for so long in business, we have made these decisions blindly by guessing. And it's really interesting because when you actually pause and start looking at your business, looking at your human design, you can see where you need support. I've shared this on other episodes where I talk about that the colored in parts of your human design chart are gifts you're here to give, whether that's the numbers or whether that's the channels, whether that's the centers. Like all of these things are gifts you're here to give. And the open places, the undefined components of your human design, these are the things that you are here to receive. And that doesn't mean that you can't do those things, but there might be something in there where you need support. You might be like a generator or manifesting generator who needs to respond to someone else and to have someone to talk to, or a projector who needs to be invited and has to have that like close confidant that allows them to like be recognized or recognizes them in an intentional way so they can really stand in their light, or a manifester who might need a really strong support structure because they're here to initiate, and in order to build that long-term success they need a team or they need people in their business to finish the things that they've initiated, or our reflectors who being in community of other people will help bring out all of the things. Like they're here to receive so much with all of those open centers, but also they're here to reflect back to us what it is that we're doing, how we can do things better, all of the things that we're thinking. So there's all of this synergy of how none of us are meant to A, do things alone, and B, understanding yourself at a level to know what it is that you need support with, and then taking that to the next step within your business of looking at where is your business going and how are you going to intentionally figure out, how do I pay for the next person on my team? How do I restructure what I've already created in order to help me be in more alignment? Because I was taking all of this messy action, I was doing all of these things, and now the business that I have built might be successful, might be giving me so much of the things that I want, but I now want to expand, I want to grow, I want something more. And being intentional on how you delegate tasks, how you create your organizational structure, not only based on the business that you're trying to create, but the role that you want to play in that business. Like all of this is part of the business planning process, the strategic planning process. And this is what the most successful businesses do. I read a statistic that said that 71% of the fastest growing businesses have strategic plans and business plans. And this is something that in the world that I have been supporting, it's something we don't see as much because I help people who have a gift, a skill that they want to share with the world, but don't have that traditional business background to know what all of these different pieces are. And that's why we're meant to work together. That's why we're all meant to find the pieces that complement us, that support us in actually getting where we want to go and creating the businesses that we desire and the lives that we desire. And if you have outgrown this concept of that you have to do everything on your own, or at least are getting to the place where you're realizing continuing doing what you have always done, doing all of the pieces of your business, or holding on to certain things because you don't know how you're going to hire that next support, or you don't know what that position looks like, or you don't know how to get to that next level. This is where working with a business strategist, with someone like me that can support you in mapping out that blueprint, mapping out that plan, so you can start to figure out how are you going to use your time, energy, money, all of the different things in order to be intentional with how you are creating your business. Okay, y'all, I have shared a lot here with you about the different types of things that I have outgrown in business, and you might have outgrown them too. You might, at very least, feel like you're ready to mature and step into that next level of business where you are doing things in alignment with who you are. You are intentionally building out your offers, your business model, your marketing, your sales strategy, all of these different things in alignment with not only who you are, but the business vision that you have long term from here. And doing all of this in a way that is intentional and planned and has both the strategic components and the spiritual components that allow you to see your business, see your life in a way that is so much more fulfilling, so much more expansive. And if this episode resonated with you, I absolutely would love to hear about it. Send me a DM on Instagram. I am Anna Nichols. And if you want to learn more about what it takes to grow that aligned business, what those components look like, in the show notes, I will have a PDF for you of your aligned business plan. This is something that you can look at and just see what these are the different components of business that I need to have, and how do I start looking at those from a human design perspective. And with that, I want you to really take away this important note, which is that even if you don't have all of the things figured out, even if you feel like you have taken all of this messy action or have been doing things that might feel out of alignment, there is a path forward. Businesses are meant to pause, to reflect, to plan intentionally of where we're going, where you're going, and doing that strategically and in alignment with your human design is going to allow you to move so much more quickly. Another statistic that I read was that businesses grow at 30% faster if they have a business plan in place, because this is where it matters so much. You're no longer wasting your time, energy, money, resources, any of that, throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping the thing that you're trying to create is going to work. But you're being intentional with how you are building your business. You're being intentional with how you're spending your resources and doing that in alignment with your human design. Like the speed at which you're going to be able to achieve your business goals, achieve the life that you're desiring, that is going to move at a quantum level. So until next time, my friends, cheers to your success.